Reaching you live from the nation's capital, this is the 6th edition on News Central TV. I'm Neota Egbe, and here are our top stories. Plane crash averted as Port Harcourt bound Arik aircraft engine explodes. U.S. Congress introduces religious freedom bill, flags Fulani militia and former Kano Governor on potential watch list. 10 dead, 27 injured in Canada's British Columbia mass shooting. We'll bring you details in a moment. An Arik Air flight bound for Port Harcourt was forced to make an emergency diversion following a mid-air engine malfunction. The airline confirmed the incident in a statement. The Boeing 737-700 operating flight W3740 was descending into Port Harcourt International Airport when the crew heard a loud bang from the left engine. Pilots immediately activated standard safety procedure and diverted the aircraft to the Benin airport, where it landed safely without further incident. Arik Air says arrangements were made to transport affected passengers to Port Harcourt and apologized for the disruption. The airline reaffirmed that passenger safety remains its top priority as it reviewed the incident in line with aviation protocols. The United States has deployed about 200 troops to Nigeria to train the country's militia in the fight against Islamist militants. An American military official said the deployment comes weeks after President Donald Trump accused Nigeria of failing to protect Christians from terrorist attacks. The report says the troops were expected to strengthen Nigeria's counterterrorism capacity through training and operational support. It added that the newly deployed personnel would supplement a small number of U.S. military advisors already in Nigeria who assist local forces with intelligence to identify targets for military strikes. Meanwhile, U.S. Congressman Riley Moore and Chris Smith have introduced the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026. The bill seeks to address severe religious freedom violations and ongoing communal violence. Former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso has been categorized as a leader of a Fulani ethnic militia on a potential terror watch list. Additionally, the militias, cattle breeders, and other Fulani militant groups have also been identified as organizations of major concern. Lawmakers say they aim to pressure Nigeria into tackling complex insecurity involving bandits and terror groups. Currently, the bill awaits committee reviews and congressional votes. And to more security-related stories, in Borno State, troops of Operation Hadinkai have neutralized 16 insurgents, rescued 11 hostages, and arrested suspected terrorist drug suppliers. The Media Information Officer, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday. According to him, the 16 terrorists who were neutralized on February 9 when troops in synergy with the Civilian Joint Task Force launched a counter-offensive along the Komala axis in Konduga local government area following an earlier attack on a military base on February the 5th. According to him, the troops recovered over 20 bicycles, a large cache of logistics items, weapons, and other supplies critical to terrorist operations. In a separate operation, he said troops arrested suspected ISOP logistics suppliers conveying a large quantity of drugs meant for terrorists around the Bukati axis on the same day. Meanwhile, a cross-section of Nigerians are reacting to the National Assembly's recent passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, specifically the controversial omission of the real-time transmission clause. While the Senate successfully rescinded its decision on the term transfer in favor of transmit, the failure to mandate an instantaneous upload to the IREP portal has triggered a wave of skepticism. News Central hit the streets of Abuja to feel the pulse of the citizens. While some residents see the adoption of electronic transmission as a step forward, many others believe the lack of real-time requirement leaves the door open for manual interference in future polls. Here's more.
They have to perfect it and make it reasonable that as the election is being concluded in the polling unit, it should be, transparent holistically for everyone to pass the judgment that yes, if Mr. A win, let it be Mr. A.
If the Senate have agreed that there's going to be transmission of results, that is fine. but the result has to be transmit immediately the voters are voted.
I want to commend the Senate for listening to the voice of the people, because they are there for the interest of the people, and whatever bills or whatever parliamentary action they take, it affects the people. It's disappointing to most of the Marxists who view that real-time transmission will go about a lot of transparency within the system, and that will bring confidence to INEC. But unfortunately, they are the lawmakers. They have decided, for some reasons best known to them, to exclude the real time from transmission of results. And that is giving INEC further burden of trust.
The only challenge I think I have is to INEC have the ability or the capacity to do that. Apart from INEC, the kind of network we have in Nigeria, we have more of an epileptic kind of network. Do we have the network to be able to do all that transmission?
And I've been joined by Chief Dele Momodu, politician and founder of Ovation Media Group. He joins us virtually. Chief Momodu, thank you for joining us.
Good evening. How are you this evening?
We are well, and we thank you for asking. And how are you too?
I'm doing fine. We could be better, but we thank God always.
Okay, let's see how we can add to the betterness that you talked about. Yesterday, the Senate rescinded its earlier decision and now has come up with, yes, transmit electronically, but without the real-time thing. What's your reaction from there?
I don't think any Nigerian is surprised about what happened and what is going to happen. It is obvious that the ruling government knows that the numbers are not adding up, and it is not likely to add up as they continue to impoverish Nigerians as such. So they have to resort to what we call DIY, do it yourself. So they have to find a way to make sure they can add up the numbers and then get what they want. They've always done that. But I think what I saw in the last couple of days convinced me that Nigerians are really warming up for a big fight. It's not going to be easy for the ruling government to get away with it. They've always gotten away with it, but I think Nigerians are too desperate now to accept such rascality from the ruling government.
Chief Momodu, the concern for many a Nigerian is that the opposition party is not opposing as it's supposed to. Members of the opposition are not standing their ground. It's as though everybody, it's like a bandwagon effect. One would think that the political parties will be holding their members accountable even while they're in the chambers.
No, I've always maintained that the biggest political party anywhere, including Nigeria, is what I call the floaters party. So people are worrying about ADC, they are worrying about PDP, they are worrying about Labour, the NNPP and all of them. No, the fight is not going to come from that direction alone. It's going to involve every one of us, whether you are in opposition or not. The floaters party, most of those you saw on the streets in Abuja, I'm sure they didn't belong to any political party. It's no longer a political affair. It's about our country. It's about the direction we are going and the perfidious, disposition of our legislators who ordinarily should be speaking and acting on behalf of the people of Nigeria and not just for their own personal interest. It's unfortunate. I wrote something a few days ago on social media in which I tried to advise the Senate president in particular, because it's someone I've known since he was governor. And the question I asked him is, why would you want to risk your own legacy, your own future, because of the personal ambition of one man? That's what happens. A lot of them regret it after they leave power. All the gra-gra that you see ongoing in Abuja will end one day. Maximum, maybe after 2027, if they manage to cross the river, then they will come back. I read something from President Buhari's son yesterday. Say, oh, his telephone lines no longer ring. That is what will happen to all of us. One day, everything must come to an end. So why can't we do that which is right? My appeal to them is listen to the people. If you don't, then you end up like all the other failures in the past.
But the other thing is also the fact that some will say that Nigeria is not ready for introduction of technology at that level into our electoral process. That regardless of the fact that we're saying this will ensure rigging is curtailed or stopped completely, it may not work out that way.
It's about the mindset of the politicians. There is no big deal about technology today. I flew through Doha and Dubai last week, and throughout the flights, the telephones were working at 40,000 feet. At that altitude, telephones work. There is nothing you want to work that money. And for the kind of trillion budget, a trillion naira budget, that the budget that we're looking at, anything technology must work. But if you don't want it to work, then you will deliberately disable it, which is what they are trying to do.
But
what the legislators are doing now is to disable technology by giving flimsy excuses ahead of time.
No, Chief Mahmoud, if I may comment, yesterday we had our crew go out into the streets, and we spoke to many Nigerians on the street, and some of them are talking about the fact that Nigeria doesn't have that kind of technology yet. Even though this morning, Senator Dixon was quoted on one of our sister TV stations saying that Nigeria is not ready for electronic voting. But we're not even talking about electronic voting. We're talking about introducing technology gradually at different levels. And even though INEC itself had said they're ready, Nigerians believe that the country is not ready for this.
That's why I told you, it's about the mindset. There is nowhere in the world where technology is not advancing, but we are rather going backwards. Look, there was an election in Ghana, okay, in December 2024. This midnight, I spoke to the current president of Ghana, who assured me by maybe quarter to midnight that he has won. And I started begging him, please, sir, don't go to sleep. The result can be changed before tomorrow morning. And he started laughing. I'm sure he knew where I was coming from. I am telling you, if they want it to work, it will work. But we have very dangerous politicians who will do everything not to leave power. That is the truth. And there is nothing to hide. Like Chief Abiola used to say, you cannot hide behind one finger. The politicians want to hide behind one finger, and Nigerians should not allow them, because Nigeria is not owned by a few people. What we have seen is that there will be gangsters who will do everything to frustrate everything called technology. And even when you say, okay, you agree with them, and you want to use analog technology, they will still frustrate it. Whatever technology you bring, they will try to frustrate it. But God will frustrate them too.
Thank you so much. We've been speaking to Chief Dele Momodu, politician and founder of Ovation Media Group. Thank you for speaking to us this evening.
Thank you, sir.
We wish you well. We'll take a moment, and when we return, we'll be looking at the preparations for the area council polls in the Federal Capital Territory. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Now here's a recap of our major stories. Plane crash averted as Port Harcourt bound Arik aircraft engine explodes. Congress introduces religious freedom bill, flags Fulani militia and former Kano Governor on potential watch list. 10 dead, 27 injured in Canada's British Columbia mass shooting. The INEC chairman, Josh Amubiton, has asked political parties to intensify voter mobilization across the FCT. He emphasized the importance of high turnouts for the forthcoming February 21st elections. During a consultative meeting in Abuja, Amubiton advised the party leaders to ensure supporters collect their permanent voter cards. The chairman strictly warned against the scourge of vote buying, calling it a subversion of democracy. And I'm being joined in the studio by Samuel Basi, Head of Department of Voter Education and Publicity, INEC, in the INEC FCT. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let me start by asking you, it's just 1 week away.
Yeah.
What are the preparations like?
Well, we are on it. To have a sense of our preparations, you must have an idea of a schedule of activities and the timeline for the implementation of that. So going by that, we have 13 items on the schedules. We've implemented 11, just have 2 left. That's a conclusion of political parties campaign and election days activities. So As regards that, we are fully prepared for the
So
elections.
FCT is ready for its council elections.
Yes, INEC, FCT,
INEC, FCT.
INEC, as
Okay,
it's fair,
yeah.
is ready for the elections.
Yeah. Okay, but in terms of voter education, because across the FCT, there are very few people talking about this. Many are not even aware that it happened. It's about to happen. It's around the corner. Some because they feel like their vote won't count, and others because they just don't care. You know, I say that to say this: voter apathy is at almost the lowest ebb.
Well, it has been a disturbing trend in Nigerian elections to understand voter apathy as measured by level of participation of electorate at elections. It's quite disturbing. As regards voter education, we are pushing it out. INEC has a responsibility in this regard, civic and voter education, to, kind of promote knowledge of sound electoral process. And this is what we've been doing. Jingles are out there. I don't know if your stations is also services. And then we have a multi-level stakeholders engagement, the civil society organizations, the media, the traditional rulers and the people themselves. Yes, we've been doing that to encourage participation, our own part. And at this point, we want to reach out, like what you write in your intros. The civil society, they have a duty, they have a responsibility in this regard. The media, the political parties themselves understand they're the major beneficiaries. They go out there, campaign, mobilize their members and citizens to vote for them, kind of create that awareness. That is it.
In just for want of a better, just give you an example. In the last election, 2023, total number of registered Nigerians over 83 million or thereabout, registered voters across the country. Only about 34% came out to vote. For the FCT, know that the total number of registered voters right now, can you give us a figure?
Is 1,680,315 voters.
Of that number, what percentage do you think will come out or are willing to come out to vote?
No, on that, I won't be able to speculate on the percentage of that, but we encourage people to come out, those that have registered to come out. And also we use this medium to let people know the benefit of participation. It's not just coming up to exercise your civic duty. You should understand the, kind of recognize the benefit of participation, choosing people that will take decisions that affect your well-being and the well-being of the society. Incidents of the local government or the, how's it called? Area council elections. Area councils are the closest tier of government to the people. They are basic services they provide. The primary.
I don't know if you heard when one of my colleagues went into the street and some Nigerians were talking to us, and they are concerned about the fact that they are not sure their choices will be taken into cognizance. You say that the joy of choosing who will take decisions for you, that's what elections is about. But then they are complaining that they are not sure that their votes will count.
Definitely.
So in this case now, this is like a test case, as you know, FCT elections. Should Nigerians trust INEC?
Yes, of course, they should trust INEC. And of course, regards INEC commitment to, transparent, credible management of process, it shouldn't be in doubt. Our processes are open. Understand? The only thing secret about the process is the actual thumbprint of these things. We are open with these things, and again, with the use of technology, that's effective safeguards to protect, uphold the integrity, and ensure that voters' votes count.
Okay, let's just do this. The history of Nigerian elections over the last 20 years is a tug of war between sophisticated rigging techniques and technological interventions. While each cycle has introduced new fixes, political actors have consistently adapted their methods to bypass them. Elections were defined by blatant violence, armed thuggery, hijacked ballot boxes, and result sheets to inflated figures, leading to the infamously flawed 2007 polls, where results often exceeded registered voters. Technology like the card readers forced riggers to adapt. Tactics shifted to identify theft via incident forms and blatant vote buying, while results were still manipulated during manual transport to centers. Modern tools like the beavers aim for transparency, yet 2023 saw technical glitches and targeted voter suppression. Increasingly, final outcomes are decided by courtrooms rather than the actual ballots cast by the voters. But let's go down a little bit here. Amak residents on FCT, as preparations continue for the votes that are coming. You see what I read out there. Continues as though every year the courts decide who wins, not the votes that the people say they casted. So I ask you again, 21st of February, should Nigerian voters in the FCT trust INEC that its promise of free, fair, and credible polls will stand?
Yes, of course, they should trust INEC. I should trust the processes. And again, we have to hinge this on, kind of what the INEC has been doing. The recent election in Anambra State, it was successful. The litigation, I think it was more of pre-election in nature, not on the outcome of that elections. If you use that as an example. And that, of course, is the same template that will be adopted in the conduct and the management of FCT Area Council elections in coming up on the 21st of
February.
That's less than 2 weeks now.
So before we let you go, what law are you going to be working on? The 2022 Electoral Act, is that what you're...
It's the 2022 Electoral. That's the extant law.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Mr. Samuel Bass is the head of Department, Voter Education and Publicity, INEC FCT. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you very much.
We wish you well.
All right. Thank you very much.
As preparations continue for the FCT local government elections, residents across the area councils are making it clear that the February polls will not only be about campaign slogans and street posters, but about service delivery to the citizens. In the Abuja Municipal Area Council, voters say they are watching closely and expect whoever emerges to focus on the basics that affect everyday life. From Day to Gwarimpa and Wuse, residents are already speaking out on what they want from the candidate seeking their vote. Our correspondent Sumaya Abubakar tells us more.
With election activities gradually picking up, residents across Amak communities say their expectations remain largely unmet. In Day, citizens point to poor road networks, irregular water supply, and gaps in access to quality education as long-standing challenges they want addressed.
We are calling for this government, when they have been elected, may they help us do this thing, mostly about school and the roads.
Inside this our market, it is very rough. It's not tight. Any small hold up, we should not reach home in time, because this is the only entrance coming to the day.
We don't have light more than 2 years. We are suffering for light. If they can extend electricity here, because in my shop I use solar. But I know that there are lines of electricity here, but we don't have any here.
Similar concerns are echoed in Gwarimpa and Wuse, where residents say access to basic amenities should be a priority for anyone seeking office at the local government level. Many also stress the need for leaders who will be accessible and accountable to the citizens.
In the night, most of the people that come into Gwarimpa don't live here. So a lot of things go on that are not supposed to be. So security is a major thing that should be looked into.
Our normal water, we don't have water. If we want to bath, we enter mosques and fish water.
We are, as I said, we don't even know the main people campaigning. I don't know the current AMAC chairman. I don't know him.
You cannot be in your house and expect your candidate to win. If you want a good person to win and serve you, you must ensure you come out to cast your vote so you can get that good person that will come solve those problems that we're facing in the localities.
In this election, anybody that win, let them put that particular person in that seat.
Yana kira ga dukkan dan kasa kar ise da yancinsa a bashi kuɗi ije itin izabi wanda bai san damuwar shi ba bai san mutuncin shi ba.
As the FCT local government elections draw closer, residents say their votes will be influenced by candidates who show genuine commitment to improving living conditions at the grassroots. In Abuja, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
We will take a moment, and when we come back, we'll be speaking with one of those that's contesting or seeking to occupy one of those chairman's offices. Do stay with us. Welcome back. And now being joined by Dr. Moses Paul, a politician who is contesting on the platform of the African Democratic Congress. He wants to be the chairman of the Arik Area Council.
I think I'm the next chairman.
Okay, already, you see yourself already leaving office.
I'm already the chairman.
Okay. The question then is, what are you going to do different? Because there are a lot of promises that have been made to the people and nothing's happening. You heard the people talk about the fact that they don't have the basic amenities that matter to daily living, even in Amak, which is the base of the federal government.
Yeah, Amak is the #1 council in the country. This is a symbol of the nation. Every decision that affects this country is made from Amak. The president lives here. All the ministers are here. All the diaspora embassies are here. National Assembly is here. So this is the most significant geographical space in Africa. And yet Amak does not exist in terms of representation and performance. I've been here and I say it, like a broken record. I went to primary school here. My PhD is here. And I'm quick to remind people when we have interactions in Harvard, in Oxford, that all my schooling was done here. So I know, I know that good can come out of here. But
so
40 years.
How would you, so how would you bring out the good? Because many would tell you that there's not enough funding, we don't get enough funds. So how would you bring out the good from what seems impossible here? How?
As a private individual, I'm fixing primary schools and primary healthcare centers, doing my bit here. Children are sitting on the floor. It's such a low-hanging fruit. If you go to Kapwa here in Lugbe, no window, sheep and goats are sharing same classroom with pupils. If you go to Tunga Nasara here, we're talking about the only twin toilet there. I was the one that built it for them. Both the pupils and the teachers, they all go into the bush to wee and do it. This is how low Amak has become. So what does it take to fix primary school? What does it take to equip our primary healthcare centers? This is the point we're making. Just the other day, the chairman in the FCT was summoned for what? For about 100 billion to account for. This is what we're talking about. The other time when children were out of school and I investigated, over 4.1 billion disappeared. So what are we talking about? We're saying that even the meager money, in quote, as comparable to what is required to be done, because access to clean water, the dignity of teachers, primary school, primary healthcare centers, waste management, all of these are within the constitutionality. You see, the local governance is the implementation. This is the grassroots level.
So what's the guarantee that you won't say all of this and then when you get in there,
I'm already doing it. I'm not even making promises. I'm saying that these are the things I've been doing in the last 3 years. The primary healthcare center in Tunga Nasara, just in Gui Ward by the airport. When I went there, I fixed everything there, including providing toilet, because in the maternity ward, there's no toilet. I'm not saying what I'm going to do. I'm saying what I have been doing. This is the point we're making. You can't have people who know nothing be in the center of governance, most especially local government. This is why people are dying every day. In primary school, I was head boy. You know what that means? Because you can't manipulate in primary school. This is why I have had the privilege of traveling 20 countries around the world, sitting with certain presidents. Amak is home to big institutions that have a lot of funding. If you are an Amak chairman and you don't even understand what policy is, how do you tap into the resources of the things that we are signatory to? If I can access funds from American embassy and other to put children in school here in Amak, do you know that all the embassies are returning funds every year? They return cultural funds, education fund, health funds. We live in the age of knowledge, and you have people who who have no school certification. People, let's invite the AMAC chairman to come here and engage him the way you're engaging me. I'm saying that it does not exist. And this is why you see a lot of attention on the minister. Because if you're in London, it's not about the Queen of England, it's about the mayor of London. AMAC chairman is comparable to the mayor of London, DC, or New York. But nothing is working here. AMAC is very dirty. All the markets are entrapped with multiple litigations. There's where you can't even do business. Touts are harassing people. I've been here for about 20 years in AMAC. I've been here for 40 years. And I'm saying that enough of this nonsense. This has to stop.
All right, we hear you, Dr. Moses Paul, politician and candidate for the AMAC chairmanship office. The News Central is reaching out to other contestants as well to come in. Let's hear what you're going to do and how. It's not about what you're going to do. How do you intend to do it? Because the story has to change. And we're keeping our fingers on the pulse of the nation, on the people's pulse. What do the people want? That's what we'll be doing here. Thank you once again for coming, Dr. Moses.
It's a pleasure.
We wish you well.
Thank you.
In this election. Let's go on now and look at activities that are underway. Indeed, it started in Kebbi State, the 61st Argungu International Fishing and Cultural Festival, one of Africa's biggest cultural events. It's on in Argungu. It has started. The festival showcases Nigeria's rich traditions through cultural displays, fishing competitions, and other local sporting events, attracting visitors from across the country and beyond. Yes, I know it because I have been there. I was there. And my colleague Sumaya is there right now, and she's going to be giving us an update on what is going on, the excitement, the plans, and what's happening on the ground. Sumaya, tell us, what have you seen and what are we to expect?
Currently, we're in Arugungun, of course, the Area Council in Kebbi State. Now, starting, as you can see, I have to show you how, the spectacle looks like. Now, right behind me, beg your pardon, right behind me here, you would see how, of course, the dignitaries are seated. We have the governor of Kebbi State, Nasser Idris. We also have the emir of Arugungu here, who is, of course, the host, Ismaila Muhammad Mera. And also we have different emirs coming from neighboring communities, not just in Kebbi State, but also in neighboring states like Yobe, Katsina, Borno, Niger, Sokoto, and Jigawa State. So there's been a lot of activities that has happened so far. So
oh boy, I understand network there is really, really crappy, but we'll still get in touch with Sumaya and bring you update on what's going on there. As I said, the Argungu Fishing and Cultural Festival has already started, and as she has already said, some activities are already taking place. We'll get back to Sumaya in the course of our broadcasting, but let's go on and look at some other thing. This one not so good, not a happy story here. A disturbing case of alleged sexual abuse involving a 4-year-old girl has rocked the Jikoi area of the Federal Capital Territory. The incident allegedly occurred at an Islamic school in the community in January 2026, where the child's teacher is accused of raping her. The suspect, described as a young male teacher at school, is currently in police custody, while the case is formally being charged to court. News Central's Aisha Saliu, in this special report, digs deep into the event and now reports.
The incident, which has sparked outrage among residents of Jikoi, allegedly took place within the premises of an Islamic school entrusted with the care and moral upbringing of young children. Residents allege that it is not the first time the suspect is perpetuating such practice.
They said I have done one before. If it happened that they treat her well, even though without police station, the father being their father, treat the child in a way that he will know that something that he did is wrong. This second one will not repeat itself.
Mother of the victim, 39-year-old Rashida Alawo, says that her 4-year-old daughter reportedly showed signs of distress, prompting further inquiry that led to the shocking revelation of defilement against her teacher.
On 7th Wednesday, January 2026, she came back earlier. Then I asked her what happened to her, why she didn't attend the lesson. Then she explained that her body was paining her. I give her some painkiller. Then she sleep. Okay, in the evening, she went to piss. Then I want to wash her bum, but she started crying, which I leave her. Early in the morning, by 6 o'clock on the 8th Thursday, I have to open her body. Then I see discharge and pulse. I wake her up immediately, then ask her what happened to her. Then she asked me if she will not die. I say, you will not die. What happened? Who taught you? Say it's her teacher, Aliami. He say he did it to her 1 time in school, 2 times in Islamia. Then he tell her that if he tell anyone, she will die. I waited till 9:30 before I go and make report. They invite him for Jukwe police station. So when he reach Jukwe police station, they ask the boy. The boy confess that he did it. We go custom hospital that same night to go and do tests. Doctor confirm it.
The Federal Capital Territory Police Command has confirmed that the suspect has been arrested and is currently in custody, while investigations are ongoing and the matter tried to court.
The case was transferred from Jukwe to our gender sections. When our attention was drawn, we decided the CP personally reviewed the case and the suspect was still in custody. And on Friday, because he gave the directive that they should pile up the case and charge the court. So issue of settlement does not even arise in a capital offense like that. So we don't indulge in that.
However, the mother of the victim has raised serious concerns about her family's safety.
And the parents of the boy are threatening me to. They bring some people to my house, different people telling me different things. Bring Chief Yoruba, come to my house, telling me that my own is not the first time and it will not be last time. And this thing like this, if I don't withdraw the case and I did this Abuja, let's see what will happen.
Child rights advocates warn that such experiences can have long-term psychological effects if not properly addressed.
The first step to take in achieving absolute trauma repair is in fighting for the victim. That's the first step. There's this high level of satisfaction that that child will get knowing very well that somebody hurt me and my family, the police, other stakeholders are fighting for me.
This incident has renewed calls for stronger child protection measures, swift prosecution of sexual offences, and support systems for survivors and their families. In Abuja, for News Central, Aishat Salihu.
Nigeria faces a silent epidemic of child sexual abuse, with millions of children suffering in the shadows of cultural stigma and systemic failure. This report highlights the current data, high-profile cases, and the persistent challenges in achieving justice for the nation's most vulnerable citizens. Nigeria faces a staggering crisis, with sexual violence affecting up to 38% of children. Statistics reveal that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 10 boys suffer abuse before adulthood. Courts recently delivered life sentences to perpetrators like Kayode Abegunde and Olumuyiwa Ajoto. However, horrific cases, including the 2024 Ajah toddler abuse, highlight the extreme vulnerability of Nigerian infants. Lagos recorded over 3,600 child abuse cases, yet convictions remain alarmingly low. Despite the sex offenders register, only 9 perpetrators were successfully prosecuted between 2020 and 2024, hindering justice. Justice for Ochanya remains elusive after Andrew Ogbuja's 2022 acquittal. By late 2025, renewed public outcry and social media trends successfully pushed for the case to reach the ECOWAS court. Most abuse occurs through known acquaintances, yet only 3.3% of victims report to the police. Children aged 9 to 12 remain the most targeted group, often suffering in silence and shame. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll be looking at this matter in depth. We'll be joined by a child rights activist and president of the Nigerian League of Women Voters of Nigeria. Do stay with us. There are some situations as individuals or as human beings you do not even want to talk about. And this is one of such situations. But I'm being joined to discuss this matter by Irene Awuna-Ike, President, League of Women Voters of Nigeria. Nilov, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Irene, this is not something to smile about.
Yeah.
But it looks as if it's something that continues to happen. Yet we have the Child Rights Act in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But it looks as if it's not being looked at all.
Well, I would first and foremost say that gender-based violence has been a thing of worry, and we have had various episodes that are hurting like this, especially in the FCT. And as a child rights and gender, I don't call myself an activist. I say I am a specialist because I also am a trained psychosocial support giver, and I'm a certified GBV first responder. So we have all the referral pathway chains to refer such cases and follow up. And then we have partners we work with, the Federation of the Female Lawyers of Nigeria, FIDA, and then Center for Transparency Advocacy. We got a conviction here in FCT, early last year, but it took us 2 years to get that conviction. Now, Lagos is way ahead of FCT, but I think that the federal government and the FCT should look into what is happening in the FCT, especially in the suburb. This issue of raping minors, we have the VAP law, which has very stringent, stringent punishment for perpetrators. But then what happens is we have so many cases. Some still are waiting trials. Some investigations are stalled by either the same case we are hearing here of that woman being intimidated and being coerced to pull out the case. We had the case, to mention but a few, of Karen, who was raped and eventually died at Premier Academy. That case also went to that same state command. We even had an autopsy. We followed that matter until the case, we could not really lay our hands on what, the justice system, did for, at least for the mother of that girl to get closure. Now, this is one too many, right? We expect that, first and foremost, law enforcement agencies, they have been trained, because we've been pushing for the proper implementation of the VAP law. Now we are talking about systems now. The systems in Nigeria usually fail us citizens when they are unable to prosecute and convict people who perpetrate such heinous acts.
So I know you're not a police person, but the mode of investigation of these kind of cases, should it be the same with the regular kind of cases? I mean, if someone armed robbery cases
not
and all of
at all, and
that is why,
not at all, and that is why the gender units of the police force, they have been trained specifically on this matter to know how to handle such cases, how to also investigate such cases. We have also not just stopped at that, we pushed further to ensure that we have a proper implementation of the VAP law, have a committee, the committee, and they have SAC centers. Unfortunately, we don't have SAC centers in FCT. The SAC center, which is a sexual referral center, a one-stop shop that such, a survivor could walk in, get legal services, get health care, like you just asked, is that child being treated? What is the health status of that child? Then get psychosocial support, and of course, at the end of the day, get conviction that we give closure to the family. And then post conviction, the child or the survivor should be able to, get some support to be able to move on with his or her life.
Irene, I would have to interrupt you here because we would have to come back on this matter so that we can look at it in depth. What's being done, what can be done, what should be done. So please,
absolutely.
I'd like to crave your indulgence. We'll have to hang it here for now. We will come back to this matter again.
Thank you.
We've been speaking with Irene Awuna Ikie, President, League of Women Voters of Nigeria, NILAV. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you.
9 people were killed and 27 others injured after a shooting at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School and a nearby residence in British Columbia. Police said the suspected attacker was found dead at the school with what appears to be a self-inflicted injury. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police said 6 victims were discovered inside the school, while another died on the way to hospital. Officers later found 2 additional bodies at a home believed to be linked to the incident. The authorities issued an active shooter alert on Tuesday afternoon as the campus went into lockdown. Investigators have not released the identities of the victims or suspects. And that's the 6th edition for today. I want to thank you for letting us be a part of your evening. Let's hear from you. Send your comments or eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number showing on your screen. We'll also encourage you to follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV on all the platforms. You can watch News Central TV live on DSTV, Channel 422, TV Channel 23, Star Times Channel 274, Able TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. Many thanks again. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm Neota Igwe.